I never gave up, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not a jog. And I only started crawling in this process. So is it possible? And absolutely, there really is true value into, educating folks on how to create a side hustle, how to make money on the side just by being on your computer.
What's going on, everyone? In today's BookMine video, Victor Gallegos and I are extremely excited to bring you Chet Inhar. He's actually a fellow BookMine member, a fellow bookseller for quite a while now. And this guy is pretty awesome. He's kind of like me, honestly. He's got a 9-to-5 job, and he's also got a newborn son. Not a newborn son. He has a son that's 2 years old, actually on the same day as my own son, which is kind of incredible. We're really excited to introduce you guys, the BookMine community to Chet, because he's actually going to be joining BookMine as our first BookMine coach. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on what that will look like. But if you're a BookMine member of any tier, basically you guys are going to have Chet. And that's why we wanted to introduce you guys to him. So we'll get a little bit more into his background here in a second. But before we get started, Victor, anything else that I missed that's pretty important?
Oh, just the fact that Chet has really been in this community for quite a long time, actually. So he knows what he's talking about when it comes to online arbitrage with books. He's able to spot a book, able to tell you whether or not this is a great buy. I've been working around him and seeing his growth for the last 6 years, and just really happy to kind of bring him on. And I think he's really going to be an asset to the community. So yeah, just happy to have him here.
Absolutely. So with that said, welcome to the channel. What's going on, Chet?
Hey, Chet.
It's such a pleasure being here, guys. I've learned so much within my time with Victor and Joji. It's been a rewarding experience. And, I can't wait to pass on more information to the community and give back. And that's something that Victor and Joji have been doing since the beginning. So I can't wait to get started with this journey.
Awesome. Sounds good. So let's get right into the interview. So
Go.
I know that you've been selling for a while, right? It wasn't like you just started selling last year. Can you walk us through kind of how long you've been selling and maybe some of the successes you've kind of picked up along the way, starting from when you did start until now?
So I'll start when I picked up my first textbook. I was a high school counselor for 3 years and at a private boarding school. And, sometimes I would find textbooks in the trash as the kids were moving out. Kids were getting rid of their stuff, throwing away old supplies. And me and a couple colleagues looked at each other and said, these textbooks are in the garbage and we're currently dumpster diving. There's something we could do with these textbooks. There's value. So lo and behold, and this was my last year. I figured, these textbooks have tons of value. I listened up on eBay, and Victor messaged me on eBay, and out of a random message, I didn't know him at the time, said, "Hey, you should join my group on Facebook. We're a group of a community that feeds information back and forth to each other to help grow and and start and begin this online arbitrage." So I took, I was like, all right, now I'll see what it's all about. And that's when I really first discovered the art of just, value of books and how you can really, benefit from finding textbooks in the wild. So since I would say 2017, I, have grown so much. I would say up until COVID hit, that the profits were very small. I was just picking up books here and there, and I was just studying my keepa graphs and studying what books were doing, learning the right and wrongs from, what could go wrong in this community and what could go right, perfecting my technique. And soon enough, we get to 2024 and this new thing, BookMine, has come out, and I've,
Let's go.
been with Victor for so long, and I'm like, wow, Victor has done so much in this community. And I said, wow, I what an opportunity to be able to, give back and send, all the information that I've learned and gathered and give back to the community, because there really is true value into, educating folks on how to create a side hustle, how to make money on the side just by being on your computer. So growing from when I first sold my first, 10 to 20 to 30 books up until selling hundreds of books has been a tremendous journey.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what
Wow.
here. Victor, you have some.
Yeah, no, what happened is I saw some of his books and I knew he was selling them a little bit cheaper than he should be. And I'm like, okay, he doesn't realize that in a few months from now, this book is going to be much more expensive than it is now. Let me write to this guy or to the seller and let him know, hey, there's this other group here. We're going to help you out and actually show you why I'm buying your books now. You'll figure that out soon.
Yeah,
Because
such a nice guy.
first off, let me buy all your books and then let you know, hey, next time, in a few months from now, these books are actually like triple the price than they are right now. And you join the group. I've just been helping him out since then. I mean, I've been helping out Chet since then, and you've really grown since then. And I can just see your growth in how you respond to people and how you're buying all different types of books now. So.
And take note, this is when I met Victor, when Victor first sent me that message, it was in 2018. So it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And Victor and I have, always interacted online, and I've seen how much he does towards the community. And, I've followed him since, and I've learned so much. And to be giving back to the community is very meaningful to me.
Absolutely. It's funny, right? Because Victor was trying to honestly help you out. He's picking up books from your eBay account that were undervalued, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and for people who are new to book selling in general, BookMine, or just Amazon to Amazon flips, a lot of people don't understand what a book's value or intrinsic value is over a long period of time, and don't understand that there's seasonality until they see it, until someone shows them, and then it's like, oh, the light bulb goes off. Like, for example, Victor and I always talk about the Night Before Christmas book. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't, even though they know the Night Before Christmas is a book that would be, relevant at that time, people don't really think about, oh, that's a book that probably sells really well at that time and not really well, other times throughout the year. So,
Yeah.
my question is, how important is keepa? Like, if you had to rate keepa on a scale from 1 to 10, like, how important is it to understand keepa, and how important is that to actually be a long-term successful bookseller?
The keepa is the most important tool that I have ever picked up from day one. Learning how to use keepa and basically how to translate what looks like a bunch of lines and graphs into knowledge that you could spit right off the top of your head. As kids, we learn numbers: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And we think that's so hard when we're first studying it. But then it becomes something that we can just spit out immediately. And just like keepa, it was very difficult at first, but just to figure out ways to filter, to figure out alerts, figure out, when sales rank drops and inventory is low, tracking data from not only the year before, but 2 or 3 years back. I mean, it's an entire equation into one. Being able to translate that and really explain it so that people can really understand it is, something that I hope to give back to the community. And it's very important to know keepa and to understand it and to learn. I mean, mistakes were made along the way
Absolutely.
as reading keepa graphs. And this is the harsh reality of it. But, when you learn from those mistakes as you grow up, you only get better and better. And so I think keepa is absolutely important to read because that also integrates into BookMine, right? Essentially.
Absolutely.
But BookMine is a great tool. But without knowing keepa, how great could that tool really be?
It enables it to be awesome, right? And when we were, Victor, behind the scenes talking, like, hey, man, it's great that we have mentorship, Victor, right? But at the same time, and Chet even talked about this behind the scenes, like, sometimes you need a new perspective, right? You need somebody else who can be there and explain it to you. And when Victor and I were talking about, okay, the number one thing that we need is a coach, somebody who's very good at educating people, who's an honest, genuine person, really wants to help people out, but can easily explain keepa to people. Because even though, like we said, BookMine, is awesome software, it needs keepa, right, really to work well, right? You need to be able to read a keepa graph to make good buying decisions. So Victor, that's right. When we were talking behind the scenes, we decided we need somebody, want to bring someone on the team who's going to be great at educating people about keepa charts. That's why we found Chet. So
Yeah,
Chet, would you talk to us,
definitely that's what we're looking for.
Chet, can you talk to us a little bit about your coaching experience? Because I know that even though you haven't necessarily coached on YouTube about like reading keepa graphs, you have a lot of coaching experience. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And So I was in education for 3 years. So I got out of education to pursue what my college degree is in business and finance. So I got out of education, but I still wanted to coach and mentor. So continuous coach, currently a high school lacrosse coach where I'm at. I've been coaching lacrosse for 6 years now. So it has been an amazing experience. I had the privilege of playing and helping found the club lacrosse team where I went to school, and I have been coaching ever since. Even when my son was born, I was coaching through that year, getting barely any sleep, and working my 9 to 5. Being a coach is honestly the most rewarding thing, especially when that kid gets an offer to go to college and play, or gets
Yeah.
that first team all state, or someone who's never played a sport before, maybe someone who's never learned what online arbitrage or what keepa is before, and to be able to see them grow from a freshman to when they graduate as a senior is one of the most rewarding things ever. That's also why I continue to coach. And when my son gets older, we'll be able to coach him and his peers. And so I don't see myself getting away from coaching. I mean, I've been a head coach now for the last 3 years. I probably will. Can't make the decision now, but going to step away and be an assistant coach just to focus on more things coming up. I want to dedicate more time towards a BookMine and sourcing books and perfecting my Excel sheets, perfecting my repricing, perfecting things that I've made mistakes from. So yeah, I mean, so I was in education just for a short time, but still find myself as a coach today. So if you also look at my background, I was a small business coach as well. So I advised a lot of small businesses across the United States in navigating post-pandemic. So navigating it at post-pandemic environment, I was able to help get businesses funding, be awarded grants, provide technical assistance. So, I find just some way to help mentor and coach and just like something that Joji and Victor, I mean, I listen to Joji's podcast and I learned something new on my job of the work. And Victor has been someone I've been learning from since, way back. So being able to really see like that, the interaction of giving back to the community and feeling the transparency and dedication that folks have put time into their art, that's something that I love doing. I love playing lacrosse and I love coaching it.
Wow, just a huge resume of experience there. I mean, you're a great coach, and you're also a small business coach, right? So, and all of us are small business owners, right? Each one of the people you're talking to on BookMine will be a small business owner trying to get their business to the next level. So, not only could you help people out with their business, P's and Q's, but also their buying books. So pretty cool that you have that much experience.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Victor. I only learned from folks that have taught me. So just like
One thing,
yourself and Joji.
one thing that resonated with me a lot when you're talking about coaching lacrosse, especially at the high school level, is the 4 year, right? I'm a high school teacher, right? Currently still. And there's, as everyone knows, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, right?
Yeah.
And I think what's amazing about that is I feel like that progression for being a bookseller, like you could really be killing it by your senior year. Like your 4th year, you could really be like an incredible bookseller. It doesn't really take even that long. And as you know, with lacrosse and any sport, you get some people coming in as freshmen that are just beasts, right?
Oh yeah, they've been doing it their entire lives.
Right, right.
Someone who's been in the online, Amazon industry their entire life. But
And some people, right, are just more naturally inclined to be good, right? And so some people are to come in and maybe be new to online book arbitrage, but they're freshman, sophomore year of using BookMine and using Keepa, they're going to still kill it because they're just naturally gifted. And some people, they're going to kick off in their junior, senior year. My point is that, Victor and I are always thinking long term. Chet's always thinking long term. We've all been sellers since before. I mean, you've been since 2018, but we've been selling even before that. So we're all seasoned booksellers here. And
Right.
we kind of feel like, we can be that senior to the freshmen come in. And that's kind of, I mean, in this case, you're actually being like the real coach here, Chet, but I just thought that was something that really resonated with me.
and when I was a freshman, I remember my entire garage being stacked up with books.
There you go.
Like just, from where I started to where I'm at now, which, is not much compared to other folks like, major booksellers. But I mean, my entire garage was filled with books. I did a lot of FBM just because I wasn't ready to take that next step yet, right? I wasn't ready to advance. So I was learning, in those ways. And now my garage is only half filled with the amount of books.
That's cool. So so let's talk about Chet here. Chet has a 9 to 5 job, just like I do, right? 9 to 5 job as working as a loan officer for small, helping small businesses, a lacrosse coach, a full-time dad, and a full-time husband, right? So full-time dad to a 2-year-old son, and we're filming this right now at literally 12:30 in the morning. Yes, I mean,
We are.
right? I mean, there's no
Yep.
joke, right? I mean, there's a lot of sacrifice that has to be made to do this. My question is it actually possible? Like, are we just blowing smoke, right? Because some people look at me and go, Joe, you don't actually work 9 to 5. There's no way you could do it all. Somehow I managed to do it. And I'm not here to say that there aren't sacrifices, but for someone who's looking for a side hustle and does have a 9 to 5, is a mom or a dad with children, is it possible to actually start seeing some progress, start seeing some momentum flipping books?
Absolutely. I never gave up, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not a jog. And I only started crawling in this process. So is it possible? And absolutely. Does it take time and persistence and practice and perfecting your art your way? There's no set way to do this. You don't have to follow a step-by-step instruction all the time. There's a way that you're going to perfect it, customize it, find time in your schedule to do things. And Joji loves I think what the early morning or late night sourcing.
Yeah, late night sourcing.
Now the East Coasters are in bed,
Yeah.
right? And I do the same, but then that's Joji's time when he's with family, right? That's when I'm sourcing, in the late evenings. So, you know, uh, dedicating, an hour to 2 hours to 3 hours a day, some weekends, or maybe sitting on Facebook Marketplace, just looking up an ISBN number. You're sitting 10 minutes on social media, you can do 10 minutes on, Marketplace and see what they have. But yeah, I mean, figuring out and perfecting your way to, make this perfect. I mean, my process is still not perfect. I have a lot more to learn, but if I have an opportunity to help other people learn my mistakes, it makes their process a lot easier, and it makes it more efficient, right? We as a community, as BookMine, and the community that Joji and Victor have, if you come in and bounce your ideas and ask your questions, no one's judging you by how seasoned you are. No one's judging you by how many sales you do or how large of a following you have. I've never felt like that. And that's why I love this.
So cool. So at this point, let's actually, I mean, we have more questions to go, but we should actually kind of give a little bit of the details about exactly what Chet's going to be doing. So, I mean, it should feel pretty obvious that Victor, right? He's going to be a BookMine coach, but Victor, you want to tell us a little bit about kind of how that would work out for our BookMine members?
Sure. So first off, we started a whole BookMine community, right? And we continue to grow. We're now well over 100 people, and we realized that we need to bring on an expert that can help us out at the beginner tier, right? So we have the gold penner tier, and basically, we don't really have much coaching available there. Me and Joji have been coaching at the middle tier and higher, and we were looking for somebody at that beginner tier to help out. And, so we kind of looked at our communities and who has been with us like the longest and who we thought was a really great expert at what we were doing. And immediately I came up with Chet, and, behind the scenes, we've been talking with him and seeing how that was. And I mean, I think it's a great fit. I think he's going to be an awesome coach at that. So basically that's it, right? He'll help us maybe every other week, coach a class, and every BookMine member will be invited to those, but it'll be specifically tailored to the gold panel tier. And yeah, we're just really excited about it. We haven't honed in a specific date for sure. We're always going to be on a specific date, but we're going to start out on Mondays.
Yep.
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. So,
Yep.
yep.
Yeah. So our first day that Chet's actually going to be, introducing himself to the BookMine community would be June 10th, which is a few days from when this video will be posted. And again, if you're watching this way into the future, it could be completely different. But if you're part of BookMine, you'll be in the Facebook community. You'll have access to like when the live sessions are. Those will also be recorded. You can go back and watch them. But what we found, Victor, is that just getting started is difficult for a lot of people. Understanding keepa is difficult for a lot of people, and bringing somebody from a different perspective, and then also having us on the back end. There's like no way we could lose, right? We just want someone who's a genuine human being, a great educator, someone who's got to have other people's best interests at heart to be there, and that's Chet. So yeah, so basically, you guys can expect up to twice a month. Probably that's the goal. Hopefully, twice a month. That Chet can be in there, and he'll be offering as much as he can to help you guys grow. So Chet, so a lot of people, watch our videos, BookMine videos, even on, my YouTube channel, they join Victor's Facebook group. And then Victor says, buy this book. And then, I don't know, a lot of people just don't buy it, or some people do buy it, but the book just does well, right? And even though it's shared to 2,000 people, my point is that a lot of people don't get started, right? Kind of, what was your sort of motivation to get started, right? And what would be your tips and advice to help someone out there who's watching BookMine Academy videos going, I don't know about this. Maybe, maybe not. What's your advice there?
There's a lot of platforms out there. And I think just seeing how community oriented we are and offering such a welcome, just organization allows, you to reach out for your fullest potential without any hesitation. I when I first started doing this, I thought, wow, where could this take me? How could this help me? And how could I, give it back? And giving it back is wow, this opportunity came towards itself. But I really wanted to find something to do with my time at the time, right? I was, with my wife now, but it was just her and I and our pets, and we were just hanging out in the evenings. And I'm sitting on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm like, wow, look at this, and more textbooks. And living next to 4 colleges really helps. So seeing how much extra income that I could make just by hanging out with my family allows me to spend more time with my family. And instead of, which I did it at a time, was Uber or Lyft or DoorDash and get in the hustle. But then that takes time away from my family.
Yeah.
So if I could earn almost the same, if not way more, by just, instead of sitting on social media, but sitting on, things that I could source, eBay, Amazon, Facebook, and spend time with my family now, and now with my son, I mean, that's huge. And so I set goals for myself. I mean, I was just someone who was just didn't know what a keepograph was at the time. Took 3 years to really find a good method to, I'm still not an expert, but took 3 years to really figure out the ways of keepa and to perfect it. I'm still learning more and more every day. So to someone who is just learning about whether they should really spend the time to do it, it's I think it's a great opportunity that you're never pressured to join. You can join the group and still be a part of the community, and see how many questions get asked and answered. And if the questions don't get answered immediately, it will get answered by either Joji or Victor or other seasoned booksellers in the group. And you really don't find that community in a lot of other groups that I'm a part of. So I really just like how the environment is. You never want to work in a toxic environment, right? Like you immediately find another job. I mean, you guys can believe me or not, but I've been a part of this group for 7 or 8 years now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. That's a long time.
Yeah, and I'm just an ordinary guy. I'm 9 to 5. I'm a high school lacrosse coach. Like, I'm here, and I found a method that works for me. And it's just I didn't grind, 8 hours a day studying keepa. I just did it on my spare time. So
I mean, really inspirational. I think the amazing thing about book selling is it could be midnight and you could be sourcing. You can't really drive to a Goodwill. You know, you can't really, I mean, I guess you could also drive Uber right now at nighttime if you want, but who wants to be driving Uber right now at midnight, right? So I think it offers tons of flexibility, which is what you mentioned. And, even though Chet said it took 3 years for him to really master keepa, like you mentioned, you do it in your free time, right? You're just like, oh, this is
Yeah,
just some extra way to make money, right?
absolutely. This is not, I'm sure if I would have spent 4, 5, 6 hours, 2 days, 3 days a week, then I could have mastered it a lot quicker,
Yeah.
just like you would like a college class. You're spending a lot of time per semester. But this was something I was doing on my free time, something I was doing as a hobby. This is something I picked up, just like when I go to the gym or, go play lacrosse, or this is a hobby of mine. And, now that it's taken me this long, I constantly have to remind myself that it's a marathon and we're
Mhm.
all going to get to the finish line. We're all going to, live our lives, but you can't expect, a method like this to be winning within a week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months, right? The way that this technique is rewarding, but it's a marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Well, all three of us really started this as like a side hustle, right?
Yep.
And we all did it because we all had jobs, and after our jobs, we could do this after work and still kind of hang out with our families. I think that's probably one of the best benefits of doing online arbitrage with books. I mean, we can source at like midnight. I source quite often at midnight, and matter of fact, most of the time I'm sourcing midnight to 3 in the morning, and I buy most of my books at that time. So yeah, I totally get where you're coming from, Chad, and you're able to fit it in through your day, and then it becomes like a bigger part of your day because you're actually making some really good money from it. And yeah, I just what would you say was like the biggest factor in you building a successful book business? Like, what would you like have? What would you say? Studying keepa graphs more, or would you say just the consistency, or what part of it would you say would a beginner need to like start this business, even like to actually start to grow it?
I could keep saying all about Keepa, but I think the value in it is the community. Um, Listen, we all have worked, and we've all been a part of workplaces that we didn't enjoy. Being a part of Victor's community and seeing how much help he's done. And I mean, I've never seen one rude thing, no smart aleck remarks. Like everyone is so friendly. Like the community that has been built between Joji and Victor has been so welcoming. There's no pressure, there's no sales tactics, there's no nothing hidden. And you know what? Today, if there are discrepancies, it's like they're the first one that wants to remedy the issue. Like they're the first ones that will come running to it. And you don't get somebody that's, somebody else, or you don't get an assistant. You get Joji, or you get Victor, or you get the community members they have built and welcomed into the group, right? That's something that I really value in its own. And I mean, you don't have to pay for BookMine or Keep It itself. Like that's free knowledge and the videos that are there. And I mean, look at all the resources Joji has. That alone is valuable information that he's just giving away. So the community and the resources, Victor, I think is huge.
Yeah.
Um, and honestly, uh, yes, for someone who is starting out, whether they're in their first week, it's going to seem very foreign. If you were to learn a new language right now, would you understand it in a week or in two? You might understand the basics. So it's honestly, it's a new method of learning a technique. And this consists of online arbitrage, perfecting your way of being successful, right? Victor has his way of being successful. Joji is an expert at Excel spreadsheets. Like I am not an expert at Excel spreadsheets, but Joji has provided those Excel spreadsheets to us at our disposal. Come on,
Yeah.
he did the work for me just to give back.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, so back to what I was saying, Victor, it's challenging. The hardest part is just getting started, but that's part of starting anything new. So honestly, the community is here and ready to welcome
All,
welcome
all,
you.
all of us here had to sell our first book, right? I mean, it took us all, our first book. All of us had to get buy box eligible. All of us
And
did that,
I think like and you know my CEO says this all the time is no question is a dumb question.
Yeah.
And and I ask questions that may be easily answered, but there's questions that come into our group all the time, and it's just something that someone is asking. It's never, looked at any different, which is, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Victor always kick people out if they're unnecessarily rude or harassing people. So you guys don't have to worry about that. Victor is good about that. Also, by the way, Chet, so you said that I'm the king of Excel spreadsheets. Actually, Victor is the king of Excel spreadsheets. You just haven't gotten super in depth with him, but
Mm.
I put together a little Google sheet that you guys can use. The link down
Yeah.
below, right?
You're better than most people, JB. So, like myself, right?
Yeah.
You all could be like, learn some technique real quick, but when it comes to Excel, it's like, man, that would take me. BookMine took or Victor's method took me 6 years. Now Excel's going to take me like 12.
Exactly. So Victor is definitely the king of spreadsheets, and he'd look at my Google Sheets and probably laugh. But at the same time, it works. It works, right?
works.
That's what I was able to do. I'm no expert in Google Sheets. But my next question is a fun one. And often people ask Victor and I, especially when we go to the Miami Sellers Conference, which is a great event, but very few booksellers, traditional online arbitrage,
Mhm.
wholesale. People always go, why books? Like, why would you want to sell books? And for Victor and I, it's just super fun. I don't know what it is about books. I just love flipping books. I just have no interest in flipping bras or like flipping sunscreen or like
Oreo
flipping-
cookies.
Yeah, there's just no part of me that thinks that's fun, right?
Right.
I really, for some reason, just love flipping books, Victor, and you agree with that. And there's a
100%
other
right.
pros why, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, was part of the reason why you stuck with this, like you just actually like flipping books, you just like the book game.
Yeah, I don't know. Please don't see me as being biased, but I interact with folks who do have legitimate Amazon businesses that are selling fabulous products, and I'm sitting there going, should I transition to selling like you know uh, a splash pad for kids? When that was hot from 2020 to 2023.
Yeah.
Like pools were closed, right? So like these pools that you could buy online were like a huge hit, and you could literally buy them overseas for a quarter of the price. And then as long as you got it on a barge, the barge got to your post, it cleared customs, and then it went to the warehouse. The warehouse prepped it, shipped it to Amazon. Like that's a very long process, right? And that's just not pools. It's anything. It's your everyday uses that you buy on Amazon every day. And people I constantly see going, man, what's your secret? How do you find it? Well, no one's going to reveal that because they don't want competition in that field, right? They don't want to give their secrets away because there's so much competition and the margins are built for them. So when you're buying from overseas and you're bringing them, on a barge, waiting 20 to 30 days possibly. And I sat there and thought about it. I was like, man, these folks have legitimate businesses they built, with their bare hands. And I applaud them for that. But for me, um, I'm a hard worker just as much as the next guy is. I just found the process of textbooks being a lot more streamlined, something that can also fail, but you learn from those mistakes, just like any other hobby that you do, and you build from it. And, textbooks are available everywhere. Yeah, folks are going to Goodwills, folks are going to estate sales and yard sales. I love going to yard sales. I just had a yard sale last week, and people were looking for Pokemon cards and like antique clocks and all this stuff so that they could flip, but when you find the method and you perfect it, such as textbooks, I mean, you're surrounded by textbooks. If you live near a college, there's no reason why you shouldn't be on Marketplace at the end of the semesters, offering cash for books or messaging everybody, who's a university student going, hey, I'll buy your books right now, you know? And it's awesome. Just to find that technique and to find that grind. And, I applaud everyone who's on an e-commerce business because it is very difficult. But for me, I found that textbooks are awesome.
Yeah. Victor and I recommend piecing down in the beginning, right? Just focus on one thing, right? It's much easier to be the best that you can be if you're focused on one thing and not, jumping through hoops and doing this and doing that. And we're not here to hard sell you on books. Like, we want you to be here if you want to sell books and you
Yeah.
find it fun, right? Victor even tells people this. He's like, some people have told him in private message, like, I like the, uh, I like the margins. I just don't really like selling books. And Victor's like, well, what are you doing? And
What are you doing here? You
go
can, you,
sell books. Go
yeah,
sell something, right?
you can
You
pick
get to
whatever
love it.
field you want to be in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in books because I love books. I love everything around it. I love the fact that I don't have to actually even type in a title of a book. All I need to know is the digits in the back of the book. Type the digits in the back of the book on Amazon. It'll find the book for me. And so I won't know, like, oh, I will like be like, oh, this is the second edition or this is the third edition. No, I'll know exactly as long as I type in the right numbers. And I mean, there's just so many reasons why books are it. But yeah,
But the point there is that we're here for you if you want to,
exactly.
if you're wanting to 100% commit to books. That's what we've all done. And we're basically saying, hey, no hard feelings, right? If you don't want to do that, that's fine. You can probably still learn a lot from the resources we provide, but go find that community, find that niche. But we're trying to build that community for people who want to go 100% into books. So that's pretty interesting. Now, what kind of opportunity, Chet, do you think there is with selling books? Like, for somebody who is a 9 to 5, husband or a wife, they've got kids, they might only be able to work on it a few hours. Like, is this something that, okay, at most you'll make 10 grand a year? Is there scalability to it? Like, do you perceive that maybe even you as, being a coach this year and in the next year and so on, you might actually even do even more in sales? Like, what kind of scalability do you think there actually is possible?
To start out within reach, right? Don't start out somewhere where you shoot for $10,000 in sales. I would say start out with $5,000 and work your way up from there, because that's where I started. And not saying that everyone will start in the same area, but to take, $5,000 in sales to where I'm at now, it is awesome. And to be able to still spend time with my family, still be able to coach lacrosse and still work a 9 to 5 job, giving back to the community, being able to be a small business coach, the opportunities are there. The ask is not entirely huge, but it's a grind, like I had mentioned. And I will say that there's latent heights in it, but there's fun in it too. It's not just, hey, I'm going to get the sale. It's learning the art of textbooks. And I think we failed to mention, maybe mention it once, but it's not just high school textbooks that we're looking at. There's
Yeah.
books that sell year round.
That's right.
And little did I find out until I joined the group, Victor loves to provide, extra tips and hints, and has provided our community with books that sell in the Christmas time. Hey,
Yep.
books that sell in the springtime. Come on.
Mhm.
I mean, who doesn't want to do spring cleaning or spring gardening?
Yeah.
Or who's ready to, buy a Christmas book for their kids, or wants to buy a cookbook and gift it to their family members? Those books are really have a lot of value in March and April. When you're comes to December, you're going to be wishing you bought more. And it's just a simple art and technique to it. So it's not only textbooks. So once you figure out that pattern, the notes that you jot down, just as you would like a college class, or, you're learning a new technique, those are the notes that you won't forget for the year after that, because then the following year you look forward to it, and then it's fun, right? The following year you're going, oh, wow, I got to buy this book because it's going to give me a return on my investment. And it's definitely backed up by data. So,
Yep.
it's not only just textbooks, and I want people to realize that there's other books out there, not just textbooks.
Yeah. I mean, Victor and I do this because it's fun. I mean, it makes money, but we do it because we just genuinely love doing it. It's like a game, honestly. Like, I find so much joy in reading a keepa graph. Dude, that's an amazing deal. Let's go. I get so much energy. Even though I might have made $30 on that book, I'm actually more excited about that, just having found that book rather than actually
Just the process, right, Koji?
right?
Yeah.
That's the process, maybe not even the destination. And that might be a little bit privileged based upon where I'm at financially, or where you're at financially, Victor, or where you're at
Yeah.
financially, Chet. But the cool thing is that it's possible for it to be a sizable income for you to supplement your income, especially if you have a 9 to 5. it's definitely possible long term, right? Thinking about that freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year kind of a thing to eventually turn it into a full-time gig. I do truly believe that. We are getting, now at this point to the end of our interview, and I'm extremely excited, right, with Victor here to bring Chet on as our first BookMine coach and having him come and teach, two sessions a month. Again, starting on Monday, June 10th. Again, if you watch this in the future, it could be a different day, but if you're a BookMine member, you'll be in the Facebook group and you'll see what that time is. I just want to end with, what's your piece of advice for someone out there who is on the edge of their seat, like, wow, this sounds so cool. I want to join BookMine. I'm a little bit worried about keepa. I'm a little bit worried about BookMine. They've got their tippy toes in. They're excited, but they're not jumping in. What's your one tip of advice to try to get them to move over the fence?
My advice is talk to our community and give it a shot, give it a try. There is no cost, no pressure, no sales, no multi-level marketing. I've been, I'm a testament of where I've come from to where I'm at today. And when Victor and Jody came to me about this opportunity, I was actually waiting for the person to be in this position so that I can learn from them. And, and Victor and Joji asked me to do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really told my wife, my family. It's like, this is going to be awesome. I already love coaching and mentoring.
Yep.
I love when questions come my way because if I don't know the answer, then I want to help learn it, right? Try it out. There's no sales, no pressure, no tactics. There's no money back guarantee because you're not spending any money. You're just in here to learn free knowledge, free general knowledge. All it takes is a click of a button, and you're already into YouTube videos. I mean, there should be no hesitation because if you join it and you don't like it, no one's looking at you differently. No one's judging you. You could be a fly on the wall for a long time. This information is not a secret. I mean, we're out here and I've been a part of this community. Just give it a shot, right? And I think Victor and Joji run some trials at times. So yep, come figure out and come find out what we're all about. This is a no pressure environment. We're very open here and no one is ever judging you. That's my favorite part about it. I mean, Joji, is an educator, and he knows, the pressure, the social pressure that kids have every day. And maybe that's the pressure we have as adults. So that's not in our community. Our community is nothing but a wealth of knowledge, and you take it and you do what you want with it, and hopefully it turns into a hobby, just like my hobby of coaching or playing sports or whatever it may be for you. I think it's worth a shot. So thanks, guys.
Wow, Chad. I mean, your passion and how motivated you are to give back is just coming through the screen, right? And that's exactly what we were trying to do. We were trying to build a community of people who want to just give back, to help out. And at the end of the day, we all just are trying to be successful in our small businesses, right? We're trying to be even better booksellers, and I think you're just going to be a huge asset to BookMine and just to the book community altogether. And happy we're all doing this, and I don't know. I'm happy we did this interview.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait for it to air live. People are getting a lot of value from it. Last thing, everyone, is you can get a free trial of BookMine, 10 days, cancel absolutely free. And you'd be able to access the Facebook community group, see what that's all about, look at, Chet's past recordings if you do this in the future, even join, one of Chet's live classes. But we just want to say thank you so much for your time. Really hope that you guys join us in this journey of flipping books, hopefully achieving financial independence as a result, but just honestly having fun flipping books and finding community, finding friends. And that's all we got. So Chet, thanks so much. We'll see you around, obviously, in the Facebook group and also with your live sessions. So we're really excited for that. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Thanks, guys.